World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of That's Fair. And believe it or not, I've been waiting to get around to this review for quite a while now. Ever since I went to LA, in fact, back in 2018. You remember that, right? I went to film the 4K Mastered Killer Clowns from Outer Space Blu-ray signing at Dark Delicacies, and one group who came up immediately caught my eye, and they wanted to show their appreciation for the Kyoto brothers' work by giving them a sneak peek of their own little horror comedy project, Bad CGI Sharks. That group being MaJaMa, Matthew, Jason, and Mateo, indie filmmakers without the most experience behind them. I mean, years ago, Mateo was in like half a dozen things, and Matthew and Jason, well, they were in a failed TV pilot about weed. But now they have come together to tell the tale of Bad CGI Sharks. It's a story about estranged brothers who come together and, well, at least one of them has big aspirations to make a sharksploitation flick in Hollywood. However, before you know it, their script comes alive and they are being attacked by the very creatures they scripted to devour helpless victims. Which happen to be made out of not the most convincing CGI. Now, what do you want? MaJaMa isn't exactly the wealthiest film company in Hollywood. Yet. So, let's take a look at Bad CGI Sharks and see if that might change. Yes! 5 out of 5! Cinematic geniuses!
Oh, I thought I heard someone.
No, it was starting so good. I'm going to be very disappointed if this man doesn't have a banging ass. This would be Bernardo, played by Matteo Molinari, one of the Mas of the MaJaMa trio of writer, director, and actor for this project. He here is effectively the narrator as well as the muse of the tale, and knows the best way to start a horror movie is with some hapless victim being torn to shreds. With that in mind, we hop right back to Anastasia, played by Autumn Crockett. She and her boyfriend are engaged in crude, sexy texts, but before he can make it over there to ravage her... and the body count has started. Oh, scratch that. Body count hasn't actually started yet. Come on, just a little more. The point is, eventually the body count starts, leaving her boyfriend, Billy, played by Christopher Tisa, to discover the horror upon his arrival.
What, did your pussy explode?
And in case you haven't noticed, this particular production has a bit cruder of humor than your average horror comedies, so if you're not really comfortable with that, did you just fucking forget all of the other things I've ever put on the internet? The horrifying death of the boobalicious babe was, of course, because of the movie Monster, which remains nice and unseen for the time being. Any monster movie worth its salt doesn't reveal it right away, you know that.
Wasn't that thrilling? I made that.
Never miss an opportunity to plug your portfolio, I guess.
No, I don't make films. I make films real.
Okay, if the twist turns out to be that they saved a bunch of money making their horror movie by just going around and filming actual murder, then this is going to become the most uncomfortable review I think I've ever done. Though I will still judge you on your technique. Rather, this is where he explains that he is a muse, and gives us the abridged version of Muses for Dummies. Basically, all you need to know is magical, tied to creativity, and based on ancient folklore and legends, so that's all you really need to fuel a horror movie plot.
Confused? Me too!
Hey, I reviewed movies about ancient magical creatures that were happy and go-lucky, or just, little colloquialisms, and it turns out their actual history is dark, demonic magic of evil, or space aliens sent to kill us, or there's the hauntings that are like the entire House franchise. I don't think being confusing is going to stop any horror movie. But it matters to Bernardo, who decides to exposit how his muse powers created real-life stories out of people's projects, which allowed them to finish their work. This, of course, is the backbone for this very tale.
It's an emotional journey about two brothers attempting to reconnect their... Am I losing you? Sharks! Sharks! Still plenty of sharks! There's a lot of sharks,
Dude, spoilers! The monster's not supposed to be revealed yet. The story actually begins decades ago, when the two brothers were still kids, and even back then dreamed of making their very own shark movie.
Their father wanted the best for his two sons. Then he saw how Jason turned out. So he wanted the best for Matthew.
But fate was not on their side, and they were separated before they could ever make their dreams come to fruition. Should I call my brother up and see if he's still interested in starting a heavy metal band? Fast forward to present day, and the two of them have grown up on opposite sides of the country. Matthew, played by Matthew Ellsworth, is in California and works at a cheap movie studio. Waking up way late for work, he winds up hearing about this major shakeup to his daily routine via voicemails left by his mom, played by Heidi Gott.
I'm on my way to the airport. Yes, it's your brother. No, it's a mess. No, I'm trying to drive you.
Hey, little bro! Oh, guess who's getting a wacky new roommate?
And his life is going to turn upside down very soon.
Hollywood, here I come!
Or the car, anyway. But this ain't House 4, and he walks away from that merely missing a shoe and late for an interview. No worries. Amy, played by Jen Liu, lets him know she's here for him. After all, she has no choice.
I'll be shackled to my desk working on Shark Rapist 7, the season of the anus, all night, so if you need me, you know where I'll be.
So that's how he can live in Hollywood making movies and still feel the soul-crushing depression of knowing that your life is heading nowhere. He's effectively working for this universe's version of the asylum. But that's still a ladder to climb, so he finally makes it to his interview with the higher-up Diane, your average boss with all the motivational bumper sticker team-inspiring slogans that don't actually mean anything, played by Sean Landry.
If you're not making self-spectations, you're taking self-vacations.
Forever is not out of the question!
Which is even harder to pretend to be interested in when you have real-life crises coming around that are far more important than the fact that you haven't bothered proofreading your 5-year plan yet. So instead of giving a good impression and getting a promotion, Matthew loses his job because he doesn't stop screaming about the impending doom he will face at the hands of Jason! This, of course, being Matthew's brother, Jason, played by Matthew's brother, Jason.
I'm finally in Hollywood. This is exactly how I pictured it. Hey, nice beard.
Nice hair, Dick.
Who has already arrived in Hollywood and is chatting it up with the locals. Because airplane tickets or just filming in an airport is really damn expensive. As is filming just about anywhere, come to think of it. Once you set up a shot that's obviously for a movie, people come out of the woodwork asking for your filming permit, so by the time Matthew returns home, Jason is already there. His Uber driver, Justin Argueta, offers to help get rid of that homeless guy for him.
That's one bum I'm gonna have to deal with myself.
Okay, man. But look, man, you know, you don't have to kill him.
No, but it is an option. It's best to take care of the brother sleeping on my porch problem from a defensible position, so Matthew enters his house through the back door and heads to the front to shoo him away. However, when he opens the door, his brother isn't there.
Jesus! No. Jason! But you got the J right.
Jump scare jackass is also acceptable. Saddled with his brother and without a job to support either of them, Matt does what anyone would do in this situation and doesn't pass on the invitation to get high. Jason, though, is sure everything happens for a reason, and the reason he got kicked out and Matt got fired is so they can join forces once again and finish the movie they were writing as kids, Sharks Out of Water.
Dude, I forgot how much we actually wrote of this.
Yeah. Right up to our epic beach climax, but I never felt right writing in it without you around.
Yeah. If this is like when Creepy and I script something together, does that make me Jason? So Jason wants to get their movie off the ground, but Matt has no belief in it whatsoever. Besides, he has to go job hunting. How will this movie ever be made? Bernardo shows up. That's really all you can say about that. Pulling out his handy-dandy magical clapperboard, Bernardo gives it a snap, and then the brothers wake up an unspecified amount of time later to...
Josh! What the hell are you doing, man?
Shark! Hi! I don't know you.
No worries, I didn't bother introducing you earlier either. This would be Josh, played by Josh Sterling. He might be the guy with the least film experience in this whole production. Far as I know, it was just Matthew's neighbor, like, for real. Not to say he's terrible here. I mean, the acting isn't fantastic, but we're watching a low-budget movie about a low-budget movie coming to life, and you can really feel his terror at trying to kick a hornet's nest only to find himself suddenly attacked by a shark mysteriously floating in midair.
And how can a shark float? Maybe it swallowed some balloons and someone carelessly threw it in the ocean.
Well, I guess if sea turtles just suddenly started attacking coastal cities, shanking motherfuckers with plastic straws, there wouldn't be nearly as many people complaining about the paper ones. Jason is enamored with Josh's description of the mysterious killer shark out of water, but Matt isn't about to get roped in this conversation just because both the annoying people he has to reluctantly deal with are equally insane, and heads back inside. Josh, on the other hand, he heads back inside too, but into a much different situation. Must be related to the deep blue sea sharks that can stealth their way through knee-high water. Here, this shark out of water is secretly hiding underneath the coffee table. The fate of Josh goes completely unnoticed by Matt and Jason, who are just chilling, watching shark movies, as you do. Matt is the responsible one, though, and realizing all of Josh's clothes are pretty well filthy, takes it upon himself to bring them to the washing machine. This means he can rummage through his brother's stuff and remember the bond they shared, and their mutual love of cheesy shark movies. But then the bad CGI shark is revealed. Just kind of floating above the ground there. It doesn't look all that bad, really. Animation's pretty shit, though. It's just as well, as that allows Matt to escape from the beast, rushing to his brother to warn him that they are being attacked by sharks out of water.
We got him!
I should have known not to leave it out of frame, Matt. You do that, it could wind up anywhere. So they must run! Suiting up for the adventure ahead, the brothers hit the streets, and Matthew tells Jason they have to call for help. But then...
Sir! We needed that! We needed that!
Why do I have to be the guy who doesn't get to throw his phone? Where's your phone?
Broken in a car accident, remember?
Jeez, I've seen major blockbusters that don't give this much of an effort to actually show why this is the only path the heroes have to take. I don't know if I should be praising this movie for that, or just feeling bad for the state of cinema in general. That's not to say all options are exhausted, though, as when the brothers continue to flee for their lives, Matthew muses that maybe there was some kind of gas leak and they're hallucinating all this. Still, they finally reached a payphone, so Jason is tasked with calling the police.
There is a shark on land! Well, floating above it, like a blimp?
There's a distinct possibility it was fed Chipotle by a careless mariner. If it consumes many more burritos, we may have to warn the International Space Station. Unsurprisingly, the police are no help whatsoever, so they must run right into Bernardo, who may be able to help. Or not.
My magical muse clapperboard. You broke it.
Ancient magical powers to change reality based on a script? Won't work because it fell on the floor and broke. Is he actually a muse of ancient magical properties, or are we going to find out that Bernardo's a space alien and that's just their version of a cell phone?
Without it, I can cut, I can stop this adventure. This could go on forever. Ever.
Which means their only way out is to finish the movie. Or, actually, is that clipperboard under warranty? Bernardo explains to them their script has come to life, because magic! Before Matthew can question it much, the bad CGI shark attacks, and they must run! Again! While they are evading the terrifyingly janky monstrosity, it breaks off from them to take out another victim.
Whoops. I already showed you the scene at the beginning of the movie, remember?
Well, it doesn't matter. Think of it like an encore. Now, well, while that's going on, off-screen this time, it gives Bernardo enough time to cover the basics of how these horror movie things work, with the power of magical floating text. Canonically, yes, that happened. This reveals that the next order of business is for the monster to kill someone they love. Considering brotherly love is not something felt mutually, and they couldn't afford all that many side characters for this production, that narrows it down.
Amy!
That's right. Before you got fired, she did mention something about having to work all night long. How convenient. Thus, Matthew heads out at once, desperate to make it to Amy before the bad CGI shark does. Unfortunately, that means when he does just that, she's not someone scared of a bad CGI shark looking for help, but rather someone in the middle of their work who just saw a recently fired employee burst through the door screaming incoherently about things that can't possibly exist coming to kill her. Well, can't be as important as what she's been working on, based on Matthew's little drawings. A pitch for a shark cartoon.
You got talent, man. And I want to help you do something with it, than just kill time at work.
Oh, there's a monster coming to bite my head off. That's nice, Matt. But look at he's so cute. Our little cartoon sharks are cute and all, but the big bad CGI shark is not killing her anytime soon, and Jason has just realized that the best way to end this is by heading down to the beach for their epic climax. So Matt has to keep his brother in check and leaves Amy to her work. But then... There's fortunately one of those self-contained death screams. I couldn't have gotten that far, but somehow none of them heard that. The procedural predator attacks, consuming Amy's laptop, and in doing so, gaining sentience, becoming one with the computer, gaining internet access, and learning all there is to know about sharks in movies. Mainly, they really aren't as bad as they're made out to be. Everyone knows that. Yet for some fucking reason, we keep turning them into villains and movie monsters just to get our rocks off fantasizing about them being evil killers out to get us, and getting ourselves a nice little punching bag in the process. Well, no more. This shark has seen the light and intends to get revenge on the human race with their own creations.
The brothers seem fond of cute cartoon characters.
Yeah, they might be trying to murder us, but oh god, those things are so cute! Before this thing continues its rampage, however, it knows well that Amy specializes in producing CGI sharks, and therefore is the perfect person to force to upgrade them, giving them power unmatched by any shark previously in cinema. Gonna take a while. That's just as well. Matt and Jason are butting heads again. Jason insists that their big movie's climax is supposed to take place at the beach, and they have to go, but Matt is tired of hearing it. This is all Jason's adventure, Jason's idea, and Jason's problem. Matthew is going to have nothing else to do with it.
Go to the stupid beach. See if I care. See if you can find your way off the end of this block. You won't last 1 second without me.
I mean, yeah, if I leave you alone, there's a good chance you're just gonna get eaten by a shark floating in midair while my back is turned, but I've yet to hear a downside here.
Wow. The end of Act 2 fight that ultimately separates our two disgruntled heroes.
Heroes might be a bit strong of a word there. I mean, these events are based on their own script, and several people have died. However, after some, well, let's be honest here, filler, Jason witnesses something on the way to the beach. A weird, floaty, cartoony shark is also on the loose. He knows it's one of the ones based on his brother's doodles, and therefore, it's Matthew's story too! And his problem, subsequently enough, as another cartoon shark is hunting him, so Jason swoops in to save the day!
And that's when I write into the plot!
Because he scripted it that way. He knows, in this world, he has the power to just decide whatever he wants, and boom! You get it. Okay, it's settled. It's a nude beach. But they need a ride. No problem. Out of the blue, who just so happens to roll up but Josh? He was horrifyingly mauled in a living room shark attack, but fortunately was in the neighborhood and has nothing better to do but drive our heroes to the beach. Which has a big, epic final confrontation between our heroes, the Toon Sharks, and Big Mama Shark. Now fully upgraded, totally badass, and looking... You know what? Normally I don't feel bad about spoiling every single aspect about a movie that I'm reviewing, but Bad CGI Sharks has got to be the most indie of any indie film I've ever reviewed, and I feel like I should give you a reason to maybe track it down and watch it for yourself. And, well, the epic climax is really awesome and well worth the price of admission, in my opinion. And you can get it on the DVD in the description below. After finishing their movie, Matt and Jason find themselves back in their garage. Before you think it was all just a dream or just some damn good bud they shared, Josh comes rushing over with a package. An odd little box with a shark motif. You see, Jason had already ordered an ass ton of Sharks Out of Water movie posters. But instead of his considerably amateur design, what they find instead is the Bad CGI Sharks movie poster design. Just surprisingly professional looking, all things considered. I mean, I got mine right here. It looks bigger in the movie. So, happy ending! Their movie script is done. We'll just assume no one really died. And now they have hundreds of awesome posters to spread around Hollywood until their movie is made. Or, I guess they could just do like MaJaMa actually did and say fuck it and make it themselves. So, that was Bad CGI Sharks. It's okay. And considering the budget, that's actually pretty fucking amazing. The movie's budget was $6,257.34. $6,000! Do you know how hard it is to make anything on $6,000? That was the budget of Gamer-a-thon 3. Remember how that went? Sweet hell, I'm used to seeing poorly thrown together B-movies with all kinds of problems with hiring actors or filming locations, and of course special effects and bad CGI, but those are movies with budgets in the six-figure range, not four. So to take such a non-existent budget and make anything out of it is miraculous in and of itself. That out of the way, judging the movie for what it is, it smartly pulls off being a coherent, complete story by first and foremost understanding the non-budget. Most of the movie takes place over a single night, and it's set in empty roads, back alleys, and behind buildings where no one is around who could possibly ask anyone for a filming permit. Then there's the tone of the movie. It's a horror comedy, obviously, so while the actors aren't the most experienced, a performance being a tear-jerking showstopper isn't really an important metric here. Jason is wacky, Matthew is overwhelmed, Josh is Josh, and it all works for this movie. Of course, then there's the real star of the show, the bad CGI Sharks, and they serve their purpose. At the start, it's just the shock that they even exist, while the cat and mouse part of the movie felt like the weakest use of them. There's a few good gags and nice music, but the shock and surprise was already gone. However, the big upgrade end climax more than make up for that, going in directions I dare anyone to see coming. At the end of the day, Bad CGI Sharks is a fun romp for fans of low-budget indie horror flicks. It knows what it is and wears that on its sleeve. It's not the biggest or the most explosive or takes place in space with blue alien women wielding motherfucking chainsaw hands, but it's fun with a cast of characters you can get to know over the running time and a satisfying conclusion, coming in at 2 scantily clad victims out of 5. A high 2, a very high 2. It's still a simple, low-budget flick. And if you ask me, making a 2 out of $6,000 is really fucking impressive. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado. And remember, everything in your life will turn out just fine. As long as you remember to script it that way.
Wasn't it a fun ride? Was it? No? Oh.